So most people know the name Snow Rock. Snow Rock spent over 20 years in the California prison system, most of those fighting for his life. Because if anybody knows, in the California prison system, race is a priority. And this is, I believe, created by the staff, the administration, to keep, inmates fighting each other so they don't have time to fight against the police because a few police guard a lot of inmates. So, they're outnumbered. So they have to, but some of the stuff they do isn't necessary. I've seen people die over, police starting, issues in a prison with different races just to, just for something to happen, and then they get to overtime and all this, and it's a cold situation, but it's I know, I don't think all correction officers are bad, just like I don't think all pigs are bad, but I think most of them are, and that's 99%. Okay, 95. I give you 95%. Nah, I'm not a fan of, I'm just not a fan of law enforcement because, look at it, from someone else's perspective. You know, I've seen from the other side. I haven't been there. I can't, I don't say I know this and I know that, but I've seen, I've seen things that a lot of people haven't. And that's because I spent, like I said, over 20 years in maximum security prison. That's not to brag. I'm here telling my story, trying to, trying to make a living. It's hard out here. You gotta, you gotta have 3 or 4 hustles going on. I've been out here, doing, the prison, mentality thing. I go to work and then I come home and this is my cell. I have a nice cell. I'm not, I'm not gonna complain. But, I go to work and I figure that's, my PIA job, which is Prison Industry Authority. And those were the pay jobs in prison, in California prison. I can only speak for California prison. But they had a thing called PIA. And PIA is Prison Industry Authority. Excuse me. So yeah, PIA, Prison Industry Authority, they have pay jobs, and you're not getting paid much. You're getting paid pennies. I started out at 35 cents an hour and worked my way up to the top. Couldn't go no higher. It was a ceiling. 95 cents an hour is the max. Now I was a lead man for 3 sections, but I only got 95 cents. And each section is supposed to have a lead man that gets 95 cents. But I was running 3 sections. Now this was in a textile mill. And this was, I don't know of any textile mills in California. I heard there was one a long time ago in like Bakersfield, but I think that one was shutting down. And the one I was in, when I was incarcerated, they shut it down. It was crazy because, I was one of the workers. So they kept me on to help dismantle and take everything down. And they had flatbeds coming in, and it was some real big, heavy machinery, weaving machines, warping machines, slashing machines. These were the machines I worked on, and a lot of them were really big and heavy. And all of this, all the weaving, all the machinery was shipped to China. This was back when I was in prison, but I didn't understand, oh, okay, why, oh, okay, they buy up everything, right? Okay, that's because you throw away so much stuff that's still good. I work for a pretty big company. The company I work for HP Communications, and it's a good company. It's the best job I've ever had. But there's a lot of waste, and this is I see this across the board. Oh, just throw it away, not, not bragging, but the desk behind me, got it from work. They was gonna, they was gonna throw it away, and it was brand new when I got it. I'm the one that beat it up. Don't think, it came. But I done had this for like 5-6 years, because they had opened up a new yard, and they had bought a bunch of desks, and me and another guy had to put them all together. And then once we got them all together, there wasn't enough room for what they wanted, so they said, just throw this one out. What? Oh, okay, well, whatever goes in the trash, I can take, right? So I just put it straight in the back of my truck and brought it home. Still got it. But that's the thing, you know, I was raised, you know what I'm saying, you know, you don't, if it ain't nothing wrong with it, don't waste it. Somebody can use it, you know, but that's the thing. The world, the way things are nowadays, everything is a throwaway. It's a throwaway world. Oh, yeah. You eat with the utensil and you throw it away. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, you eat with the paper plate and you throw it away. You drink with a paper cup and then you throw it away. But how many times are you going to drink? So how many of those paper cups are you going to use in one lifetime? And that's just one person. Okay, how many plates are you going to use? Because I know I use 2 because they be kind of, it's paper. And I like a lot. So I'm pile my plate up a little bit. But I'm saying this because, you know what I'm saying, the throwaway world is something we need to get away from as a people. You know, me, you know what I'm saying, you know, I've made it a point to where I'm not drinking out of a plastic cup all the time. Now at work, you know what I'm saying, we have water bottles, so I drink out of a plastic water bottle. Not happy about that, trying to find another solution. My wife, you know what I'm saying, you know, we've been looking into the aluminum bottles, you know what I'm saying, the reusable, but aluminum ain't good for us either, is it? So what are we supposed to use now? What were our parents using? Because when I was a kid, the kitchen cabinet, when you go in there and grab a cup, they were all glass. It wasn't a cup, it was a glass. Go grab a glass out of the cabinet. Go grab a glass out of that, off that shelf right there. Go get a glass out of the strainer. It's always a glass. But why have we gotten away from that? Because of convenience. Everybody wants convenience. And I know it's convenient, but it's hurting this everything, the world, us, and, you know what I'm saying, you know, this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying, you know, I'm ranting right now, but I'm on one. You know, I've been looking at all the stuff that's going on, and I can't do nothing about none of it. So, you know what I'm saying, what am I supposed to do? Look, hey. We need to look at this. You know, I try and bring things up. Like I did a video about the poison in our foods that they spray in every grocery store you go. They spraying poisons on your food. You know, my wife, she goes through, you know what I'm saying, we got a whole regiment where, you know what I'm saying, we bring food home from the store and we have to soak it and then clean it and then scrub it and then buff it and then cut it and then peel it and then it's, you know what I'm saying, you know, it's a chore. It's a chore trying to live healthy in this throwaway world that we live in. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, like I'm living my best life. Why? Because, you know what I'm saying, you know, of the stuff I'm putting into my body. And because, you know what I'm saying, you know, I try and take better care of myself. I think about the things that are going in. What are they going to do for me? Are they good things or bad things? Because there's a lot of bad things that people, oh, it tastes good, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna eat it. It doesn't matter. I don't believe what you say when you show me that there's poison. They're putting poison, or you know what I'm saying. What was the one that Chick-fil-A? So Chick-fil-A. If you go to Chick-fil-A, go order a chicken sandwich and then ask them for the ingredients. Don't go by what I say. Get the ingredients and then look those ingredients up. More than half of those ingredients are carcinogens. Carcinogens are things that are known to cause cancer in the human body. Why would you consume this? I don't know. If each to his own. If this is what you choose to do, then that's all. It's all good. Do your thing. I'm cool. I can't. You know what I'm saying. You know, I can't be a part of this. They've already, you know what I'm saying, shown everybody that, you know what I'm saying, the meat. You know what I'm saying, the meat. There's not enough cows to produce this much meat. Then they're finding human DNA in the meat. Wait a minute, do you hear that? Human DNA. Do you understand what that means? That means you've been eating human meat. Every time you eat one of them fast food burgers. Don't let it be the McRib. The McRib has the most human DNA allowed. But that's not it. They've been showing it to you. This isn't a new thing. people act like this is a new thing. Cannibalism, this isn't a new thing. It's been ritualized. You know what I'm saying? You know, even with the church, you know what I'm saying? You know, I believe there's a higher power. I believe, I trust and believe, and I don't need to go past that. I just trust and believe that there's something out there more powerful than me. So, is it Jesus, Muhammad, who? You know what I'm saying? You know, what Ice Cube say? Come feed us either Jesus or Muhammad. All we get is vomit. So you know what I'm saying? You know, it's hard for me when you know what I'm saying? You know, I go to church and they passing around the you know what I'm saying? You know, here, this is my body. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to consume. I don't care if it is God's body. I don't want to consume no human body. Period. You know, where I'm at mentally, I'm scared of all meat. I don't want to eat no more meat. I'm just. You know, and that's the thing, I've always considered myself a carnivore. Meat and potatoes, and I'm good. Give me meat and potatoes, and I'm good. I don't need no vegetables, I'm good. Give me meat and potatoes. Now I'm getting older. Now I want to live. When I was young, it was all about, you know what I'm saying, you know, I just wanted the pleasure. I just wanted, you know what I'm saying, the pleasure of feeding my face with, you know what I'm saying, some good greasy, you know what I'm saying, barbecues, some ribs, you know what I mean, you know, something. I'm a carnivore, so I
can't stop.
But now it's like I stopped eating meat altogether. Red meat, I stopped eating, you know what I'm saying, I stopped eating pork and olive oil. That's wine, it's bad. People stop, please. The more I look into what's in the food and how the food is raised and prepared. Look, people go eat some kosher shit. Don't eat nothing. If it ain't kosher, don't eat it. You know, and I'm not saying the Jews are right and the Jews are perfect or Jews are nothing. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, you know, the Jews got that kosher food and it don't have the poisons that all other food has. The bioengineered, the pesticides, the genetically, what is it, the 3D printer meat. You know, they just, you know what I'm saying, they can just make some stuff out of some proteins and amino acids and, you know what I'm saying, you know, and here, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know, eat this. Okay. And it's a whole lot of okay people out there. But it ain't okay. We gotta do better. If you know better, you gotta do better. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? You know, how many of y'all really know better? If you know better, you gotta do better. It's time to do something different. I'm standing tall. What you doing?